I guess you gotta open it using the engine. Oh, jeez. Damn it. Well, we can see which way this review is going, huh, guys?
I am your father.
Hey everybody, it's David from Red Wagon Dioramas. I've got another unboxing video for you tonight. Check it out. I've got the brand new X-Wing fighter ship with the pilot figure from the Hasbro 4-inch Epic, I don't know what it's called, Epic World of Action. Epic World of Action. Man, that sound bland. Power the Force X-Wing fighter. Picked it up at Target last week at retail price $29.99 US dollars. I'm going to open it up, compare it to my vintage Kenner X-Wing, very much aimed at younger kids, which is how the original Kenner toys were. So I'm really interested to see what this thing is like. All right, so let's get into it.
All right, so quick look at the packaging. Here is the front. It says Luke Skywalker's Force Strike X-Wing, and it's got that logo, Power the Force. So dumb, Power the Force. Ages 4 and up by Hasbro. Here's a look at the side. Just got the Star Wars logo. We've got a different Star Wars logo on the side with an image of the X-Wing, the Disney. And then the back shows some of the play features. I guess you've got an R2-D2 head that turns. You've got a canopy that opens. And this says Rebel Flight Suit. How about Rebel Pilot, guys? Who writes these things? Battle Mode Wings. Well, okay, they got the X-Wings that opens up and closes. Here's the fine print on the bottom. And the UPC. Again, $29.99 US dollars at Target retail. I imagine these will go on sale, as most of these items have in the past. All right, let's get this thing opened up. See, there's some tape on these tabs on the top. There's some tape here. There's some more tape here. Oh, there we go. So that pops open there. That unfolds. Cut some rubber bands here. And there's half the ship. I guess it just clicks in there on the other side. R2 is kind of small. Smaller than vintage even. There's the figure. And the little missile. Oh, he's not 5 POA. He actually has hinged elbows and knees. I just expected him to be 5 POA. So he's got a little bit of articulation there. And he has a peg for a backpack. Interesting. And a little tiny blaster. I'll take a closer look at this figure here in a little bit. But there is Luke. There's the other 2 wings. Oh, look at that. I don't know why you'd have a sliding effects piece there in the engine. That's kind of weird. All right. We got 4 cannons, and we have another extra projectile for that front cannon. Look at that. I almost missed the instructions in here. Tucked inside the cardboard there. Yeah, this is not packaging you're going to be able to save, guys. It is, wow, I destroyed that. Okay, instruction sheets we have. Step 1, the projectile, the button to fire it, the canopy with the figure, those sliding blue engine effect things, and R2's head. It says put the cannons on. Yes, obviously click in the other 2 wings, and then they open and close. Oh, maybe it's just manually. There's no mechanism, huh? All right, we'll take a look. So that seems pretty easy. Is that all we got to do is just click these in? Yeah, that's it. Click in this other one. Huh. And how do they open and close? They pop right off. Does that not look even to you guys? It looks like this side's open wider than this side. So right off the bat, don't try to open this from the tips like this, because the wings will pop right off. I guess you gotta open it using the engine. Oh, jeez. Damn it. Well, we can see which way this review is going, huh, guys? All right. I'm trying to open it without it exploding on me. That's tough. These things just want to pop off. There's a look at the front view. All right, the cannons have 2 types of pegs. See, there's an oval and there's an oval with another notch. So they are meant for top and bottom, I'm guessing. So do have to find the appropriate pegs. right, so that would match there. This one over here. And the fourth one. All right, now those all slid on pretty easily. Put the projectile in there. I think as a kid, I probably would have liked that, actually. You know, I love toys that would fire projectiles like that. So I think that's actually pretty cool for this kid's toy. R2 spins. He's got very basic paint on him. It's just gray plastic with blue, so no silver or red or any other detailing to the paint there. Very basic. This whole ship has, I guess the only paint deco it has is the red on the body there and the yellow on the nose. And the canopy, of course, has the blue. Look at the canopy here. Opens nice and easy. Inside is kind of a beige colored seat with some basic sculpting there, some controls. No front control panel, though. Just a empty slot there. There's the manufacturing stamp. It says 2025 Hasbro. Made in Vietnam, this one, huh? We don't have any landing gear. Oh, we have a front gear here. Okay. Wow, that is really short. Look at that. It's a tiny little front gear. Now, if I set that down, yeah, it doesn't even touch if the wings are open. So it's only going to engage. Basically, you're going to sit the ship right here on the bottom of the engine. All right, let's take a look at the figure. This is our Luke Skywalker here. He has a single piece torso. There's no break there at the midsection at all. He's got kind of barbell hips. They don't go out that far, but he does have them. And he's got single jointed knees that don't even get close to 90. The arms are, you got a swivel and a hinge, which that hinge is really tight. Ooh, that's really tight. I would be worried about breaking that. You can hear that click, the detents there. It does open up, but man, I can't get the left arm to come out any further. The head is on a ball, so you do have a little bit of rock back and forth and up and down even. In the back you have that hexagonal peg there, which a lot of the figures in this line I think use accessories and stuff with that shaped peg, because those are also on the ship here. So imagine if you have other guns or weapons or something, you can plug them into these ports. And put him in here. Yeah, he's got plenty of room in there to go in there. And that's what the canopy looks like. That looks great, actually, where the head sits inside the cockpit there. Good view of the figure there through the glass. So I think that looks pretty nice. So this ship is 14¼ inches long. And width-wise, you are at 14½ inches wide. It's less than 3 inches tall. There's a shot of it on the desktop there. So you see how low to the ground it is. All right, guys, let's compare it to the Kenner X-Wing I have. Here you go. So that is the vintage X-Wing that Kenner Toys did when the first movie came out. And yeah, this one is a little bit yellowed. It's kind of beat up. I'm missing some stickers on it, but it is what I have in my collection right now. And I've got a vintage Kenner Luke figure in there. So comparison-wise, the vintage Kenner is a little bit smaller. It's definitely got a smaller wingspan, but the length is the same. The noses basically line up. The new one might be a ½ inch longer. The engines are very similar in size. Overall, it's a very similar profile to the Kenner one. There's a good look side by side. Yeah, just under 14½ inches for the new one. The Kenner one is about 13¾ inch. So the new one is about a ½ inch longer than the Kenner one. They both have very similar sculpt details, actually. You can kind of see the paneling here on the new one is very basic, kind of like the original Kenner one. Main thing I'm noticing, guys, is the cannons on the new toy are much longer than the original Kenner one. Those Kenner ones are about 5 inches long, and these ones are about 8 plus another 3/4 of an inch, almost an inch for that blast effect. All right, so one thing I wanted to see is how the vintage Kenner figures look inside the new one here. Pull out that Luke. And he fits just fine. There he is in there. You can see the height difference there between the vintage figure and the new Epic figure there. About a 1/4 inch difference. For comparison, I also have the 2006 Saga Collection X-Wing fighter. This one was the one that came with all the Dagobah swamp stuff all over it. So compared to these two, the Saga Collection is much larger. This is the brand new one here. Get a sense of scale there between the X-Wings and the vintage Kenner. So I think if you're a modern collector, I think this is going to look way too small next to your other X-Wings. But if you're a vintage collector, I think this toy would fit in real well. Now, for those of you who don't have the vintage Kenner one, the way the wings would open on this one is you push down an R2-D2 here. And then they would lock open like that. Then to release the wings, you would pull back on this little blue button behind his head there. And they would come back down. So I do like that the old toy has this kind of locking mechanism like that. Much more fun to play with. I'm a bit frustrated. I just kind of honestly expected there to be some kind of similar mechanism, but there isn't. You just... Yeah. There is not. I'm kind of baffled. I guess there's less likelihood that this one's going to break because if some kid is playing with it too rough, the wings are just going to pop off and you can just plug them back in. So maybe that was a design decision. They didn't want it to be a toy that broke right away, but I can see that being a little bit frustrating. And just for reference, this one has this lever where you push down, pull it over, and it opens the wings. This has been, I think, this way with many releases of the X-Wings. I think even the more modern TVC versions that have come out recently have a similar mechanism. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is not that great though, because there is a little bit of floppiness to this, and I don't know, it's not the best. I actually think the vintage Kenner has the best mechanism. All right, guys, so that is my unboxing review of this brand new X-Wing fighter from Hasbro. It's obviously designed for the younger kids. I think those breakaway wings are probably a good thing. It's just frustrating for me as an adult, collector trying to handle it. It'd be interesting to see if kids would get frustrated too. But again, for kids, I think this is really cool. If you got young kids that are into Star Wars, I think this is a great toy to give them. Doesn't make any noise, no sound effects, no lights. So maybe that's good for the parents too. It doesn't annoy the parents. It does shoot the rocket there at the front, so you can have some fun with your siblings, your friends. I guess it's got, battle damage features, right? Because these just pop right off. So I can see kids kind of blowing these things up everywhere during playtime. Overall, fine toy. Worth $30? Yeah, I think so. Given the figure that comes with it, the spring-loaded action, all the features we just talked about, I think $30 is an okay price for this. So I'm happy with this purchase. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Are you going to pick one of these up? Are you going to pick it up for your adult collection? Or are you going to pick it up for your kids, or both? Has anyone had their kids play with this yet? I'd be curious to see what the kids thought. I'm not going to mess with these red blast effects on the wing cannons right now, but in the future I might try heating them up and popping these off. I saw one guy in one of the collector groups do that already, and I saw some comments, people asking for a 3D printed tip. It's probably something that someone's already designed, probably real easy to do. Just slide that on there and to get that kind of C-shaped barrel to the cannon from the movies. Overall, I think this is a great toy, and honestly, I would actually support Hasbro making some more vehicles in this line. It'd be fun to see some of the other vehicles, like cheaper versions of some classic vehicles, come back into the line. I don't know, what other vehicles would you like to see in this line, guys? I'd be curious to know. I imagine they probably have a TIE fighter in the works. Wouldn't it be fun if they did an AT-AT in this line? I think that would be a fun toy. Go for it, Hasbro. All right, guys, that's my review. Please let me know in the comments what you think of this toy. If you've picked it up, let me know if your kids have played with it yet, what they thought. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button for me. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, and I will catch you on the next one. Thanks.